last 20 years, there have been significant changes and developments. You recall that I said that I worked at the telephone company for many years. And over the past 20 years, what has been significant for me, at least first of all, was my involvement in the first auction. On the first week that I joined the authority, I was asked to be part of the mobile auction. Subsequent to that, of course, we had several broadcasters being given concessions. We now have about 36 or 37 concessions for broadcasting, radio broadcasting. We also opened up the market for subscription television. We now have several internet service providers, I think it's about 11 of them, who are now providing services throughout the country and at speeds, that we would never have thought about 20 years ago. And certainly the fact that, the important thing for a regulator was to bring higher standards, to improve the standards, to bring prices down to levels that people could afford. And over the past years, I think we have achieved that to a very great extent with the work that we've done here.
If I had to choose one word or phrase to describe my experience at TATT, I think I would have to say all-encompassing. I would have been given the opportunity to work across different divisions as well as to work alongside my colleagues on different committees. And this would have definitely allowed me a wide range of responsibilities and challenges and learning opportunities. What I enjoy most about my role at TATT is the opportunity to plan and organize events. Whether it's coordinating internal meetings, workshops, or larger organizational events, I love the process of bringing everything together, from logistics to communication, ensuring everything runs smoothly.
So in 2009, my job wanted to send me San Fernando to work. And I had to get there for 7:30. And I had to get my children to school, and my children went to school in Barataria. So I had to make that decision, TATT call around the same time, so it was like perfect. And why I stayed is because I enjoy the culture, particularly around carnival time, two-time champ, eh? And you don't know what you don't know, the series, I get to participate in that, and it really brings out my personality. Well, we have specific departments, they always want something urgently, and you learn over the years. Yes, it is urgent, but just get it done.
Well, regulatory compliance work, especially in my role as compliance officer too, involves going on the field and also working in the office. So I like that balance. I also get to meet a lot of people while on the field. That makes it, a bit more enjoyable. I would say a phrase something like delightfully challenging. Challenging in that telecoms and broadcasting is constantly changing in the market, and so keeping abreast with that is the challenge that I like. So yeah.
Well, the telecommunications industry is an extremely dynamic one. So we as legal advisors are constantly challenged to see how these emerging technologies fit into the current regulatory framework, or what changes need to be made to accommodate them. Keep the culture alive. There is such a spirit of kinship and camaraderie that exists here that you don't find in other organizations. So the advice really is to celebrate that culture, get involved, join the committees, the event committees. It's a really fun way to get to know other people in the building, not just the people in your department, and it certainly enhances your work life.
My advice to new employees would be to always keep your head down, be willing to learn, block out the irrelevant noise. And from my former boss, Ms. Jerome, she always say be willing to ask a question. Especially if you don't understand something where I work, especially in the finance and accounts department, always ask a question. TATT will be a leader in the industry, that will be a beacon in the Caribbean, that we will always continue to hire the brightest and qualified staff and stay ahead of the latest technologies.
I remember around 2003 in a budget statement with the government. Within that statement, they mentioned telecommunications and the growth of that industry. So just leaving school, that actually piqued my interest, and that is how, I said, let me start my journey into telecommunications. When I came in, we had one mobile operator. We had about 2 free-to-air TV operators and probably the same amount of FM broadcasters. Within 3 years of the birth of the authority, that significantly changed. So there was rapid growth in that industry from that time with just a handful of people.
Well, TATT have a wide window of opportunity. Be resilient. Be honest. Be a team player. And you can go very far from there. What I enjoy most out of the role and the work I do is going out there, meeting people, being a good representation of TATT, and do everything to the best of my ability.
Seeing an ad in 2004 maybe was an opportunity for me to then contribute and be part of that growth of an organization in the new industry. 20 years down the road, I still feel that we have an organized sector. I think that TATT has contributed a lot, and my view, of course, is very positive for where TATT falls within the public service. Earlier this year, the government fully implemented a new procurement legislation. I think that TATT is a key player in leading this agenda for the government, and as my role in manager procurement, I think that I can be one of the players pushing this over the next couple of years.
I did my master's in the UK, and my dissertation was on telecommunications liberalization and regulation. So it was an opportunity of a lifetime to be able to be part of a newly established regulator and to have that impact on the market to help shape the growth of a market from liberalization into sustainable regulation. This sector is dynamic and ever-changing. So there's always a challenge, always a problem to solve. So for me, what has kept me here is having that ability to face those challenges, to solve those problems. Well, firstly, welcome to an exciting work experience here at the Authority, where you're valued as an employee and we trust that you'll bring value to the organization. Pay attention to detail because they may have significant impact or long-lasting effect on the industry. And finally, if it is you don't get it right the first time, learn from your mistakes and don't be afraid to try again because you might get it even better the second time around.
I joined the Authority on the 1st of November 2004. And I decided that I wanted to work here because I had just returned from working overseas, living and working overseas for about 15 years. And I felt that this area of work was comfortable. It was what I was familiar with, having worked in telecommunications at the telephone company from the age of 19. And so I had a fondness for the area of telecommunications, and I felt that it would be easier for me to fit back into this environment than perhaps any other environment that may have been of interest to me. So I think, first of all, for the future, I think it's important that the staff feel good about working at the Authority and continue to be committed. Because I think that we've done well as an Authority over the years, largely because of our staff and their level of commitment. Further, I think one of the most important things for the Authority in the future is also to continue our deep involvement with the International Telecommunications Union. That's the United Nations body that's responsible for telecommunications and broadcasting development. Also to help develop the young persons in particular in the country and to make them understand that, you have to be prepared for what's out there. And I would expect that the Authority will continue in those areas and also develop further programs that would help develop Trinidad and Tobago further.